Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve. I got a full show today, starting with the Red Sox, and spring training is underway. Games are underway. Red Sox swept Northeastern and Boston College yesterday in their debut as the games get started, and they play the Twins today at 1 o'clock. First, I want to talk about this article here by the Boston Globe. Dan Shaughnessy. It's an interesting article about A.J. Pierzynski being the Red Sox might have the Major League Baseball's most hated player. Pierzynski is now 37 years old. He is here. He's going to be here to replace. I'm reading this from Dan Shaughnessy's column. He's here to replace Jared Saltalamacchi as the Red Sox everyday catcher. According to 2012 Men's Journal poll, Pierzynski is the most hated player in baseball. He says, quote, "I just laugh at it. I think it's cool. I've won a bunch of years in a row. They just change the title around. They change a couple of words." True in various other polls, Pierzynski has been cited as quote, player you would most like to see beamed and meanest player in baseball. "I think I've won it before so many times is an easy answer," he added, "but I think A-Rod took over for me this year." As we all know, A-Rod is probably the biggest fraud in baseball right now. So the Red Sox have the most hated player, according to Shaughnessy and according to Men's Journal poll, and everyone hates A-Rod. Because of his steroids and his acts and his carrying on of off the field and on the field, and he's a mess. But Pierzynski represents a slight departure from the Red Sox acquisition model of 2012-2013 after a winter in which general manager Ben Cherington emphasized in signing of character guys. The Sox now have a legitimate baseball character, a guy of Bill Durham. When I play for Pierzynski, when I play for those 3 hours, it's about playing. It's about being friends. You know, your best friend in the world can be out there pitching. I'm trying to get a hit off him. It's about getting a hit or trying to win. After we can go out and we can get beer or dinner or whatever, but for those 3 hours, it's about trying to beat the guy's ass and go to the next day. So again, it seems like this guy Pierzynski, he's a veteran and he's been in the league a long time, and he knows what to do, and a leader in the clubhouse sort of kind of thing. So you can call him a character guy, as Ben Cherington would say. But he's a good addition for the Red Sox. Again, Pierzynski, he says you have to do what the pitcher says Pierzynski. Ultimately, it's their game and their ball, but you have to have a little bit of hard-headedness in you if you believe in something. Peavy and I always got into it, but that's just him. Shaughnessy asks any hard feelings from his days playing against the Sox, and he says, "I'm sure Lackey hit me a couple of times on purpose as John Lackey passed by in the JetBlue clubhouse. I've never really had a bad run with the Red Sox. We never played them a whole lot. Usually that stuff gets in the division more because you see them so much." So the Red Sox-Yankees games just got better. The Sox have the most hated player in baseball. But, again, I think the Yankees do, actually. The Yankees have A-Rod. I mean, he's probably the worst baseball player, most hated baseball player out there right now. As you know, his mess is crazy. So Pierzynski may be up there, but I don't think he's as bad as A-Rod. I'm gonna switch now and talk about instant replay. How will instant replay change baseball? And a lot of people say it will make the game 10 times longer. But we see all these calls, the no-hitters, the perfect games that get slaughtered in the ninth inning because the umpire makes a bad call. Here's an article here from USA Today. The system will cover almost every play except balls and strikes, check swings, a trap ball in the infield, and so-called neighborhood play. When a defensive player turning a double play comes close to second base but perhaps does not actually touch it, but it's about whether the go-ahead run was safe at home plate. You would check the replay. Every clubhouse and every Manager League ballpark will have a mini command center in which teams can see the video feeds. But unless they play in question ends an inning or there is a pitching change, teams will be pressed to make a call. And there's no tolerance for stalling. That doesn't mean managers won't try. Several have already added a term to baseball lingo. Play close attention to where the managers stand, where they go in the field to talk to umpires, and where they have a view of their catchers in the dugout. I think instant replay is good for baseball, but I think because of all these missed calls and all these bad, umpires that come to these, I know it's bad. I know it's a tough job, really, to call balls and strikes and all that. But at the end of the day, you have to know, if the game is on the line and it's a perfect game and you call a runner safe at first base and you know he's out, like that happened 2 years ago with Detroit. That's just, he's out. And then you come in the next day and you have to, apologize, and it's a big ceremony at home plate, and it's just ridiculous. So it's good. The instant replay is good for that case. For going and making sure that the umpires get the call right. They could do with like the NFL. Everyone has their own camera, and then there's a control center there, and then they say, okay, well, it's this one or that one. It's he's either safe or out, or but baseball is a very slow game. It takes 3 or 4 hours already. But really, I think if there's a play at home plate and he's safe or out, should you use the instant replay in the beginning of the game, or should you wait till the end of the game? Now, if you don't do it at the beginning but only do it at the end, that maybe you cost the guy a run at the beginning of the game, and then So yeah, if it's a close call, fine. But it has to be like so many minutes. It can't be this 5-minute thing. Is he out or is he safe? Is he out or is he safe? It can't be like that. If there's a collision at home plate and you don't know if he's out or safe, there should be you should have a time limit, like a minute. You should have 60 seconds to figure out if he's out or safe. And if you don't have that type of minute, if you don't have a definitive answer as to whether he's out or safe during that time span, then either then the call stands, which would really be bad, or they do the play over again, so he bats again, or that run doesn't count, or something like that. It would suck, really, but at the end of the day, you have to, if you can't, either the call would stand or you got to do the play over again. That's what I think should happen. Again, there's all the time with the umpires and the referees in general in pro sports. They're very it's a tough job, especially at the end of the game. When you're in that moment and you don't want to make the wrong call, but you do, and it's like, oh, it's just terrible. There have been a lot of those. There have been a lot of historical controversial calls. We'll go back to World Series Game 3. St. Louis Cardinals' Alan Craig is tripped by Boston Red Sox third baseman Will Middlebrooks in the ninth inning and would score on an obstruction call to win the game. Let's look at another one. This one is July 26, 2011. The Atlanta Braves get a walk-off win against the Pittsburgh Pirates after Julio Lugo is called safe at home plate by Jerry Messler in the 19th inning. Now, you realize probably by this, you have these umpires that make calls if they go in extra innings just to get the game over with. Obviously, that was a call he just did that to get the game over with. He was tired. He wanted to get out of there. Even though he was out, he just called him safe to get the game over with. June 10th, Detroit tied. This is the one I was just saying. The Tigers pitcher that loses the perfect game with 2 outs in the 9th inning, and umpire Jim Joyce rules that Cleveland Indians Jason Donald was safe at first base. And then October 20th of 2009, ALCS Game 4, the Angels catcher Mike Napoli, now Boston Red Sox, forces out New York Yankees Jorge Posada left as teammate Robinson Cano approaches third base. Umpire Tim McLean calls Posada out and Cano safe, even though he was tagged while off the base. The replay showed that Cano was off the bag and he was tagged. I did not see that. That's what the umpire said. ALDS Game 2. Left field umpire Phil Cousy rules a ball hit by Minnesota Twins Joe Morrow was foul against the New York Yankees, even though replay showed it landed off of fair territory. The Twins were tied 3-3 in the bottom 11th inning with no outs. So again, the replay thing is interesting. Would it help baseball? Yes. But this is Joe Torre now. Torre estimates the average challenge and subsequent replay can be done in 60 to 90 seconds because umpires will connect with the New York Command Center through a headset behind home plate and be told the decision. Although everybody acknowledges there will be hiccups, baseball's step into the 21st century is mostly being lauded. This is except for some baseball pursuits, and there are of all ages. I mean, everything's not going to go, their way. I mean, there's going to be yes and no. It's like football, when they do that with football. It's yes, no, and it really never goes, your way all the time. So it's going to be interesting to see that. This just happened now, today, as I was driving in. Red Sox may be sued by charitable foundation for using the Boston Strong sign logo, the Be Strong on the Green Monster. It was used last year, as we all know, after the Marathon bombing. For the Red Sox, it was like Boston Strong. But according to the El Paso Times, reported this week that the Barden Memorial Foundation is considering taking legal action against the Red Sox for the team's use of the Be Strong, a message the foundation trademarked 7 years ago. We are at an impasse, and I'm afraid soon we will going to court over it. Gary About told the Paso Times it's David versus a Goliath battle. The foundation was made in honor of Brandon Abode, who died in a skiing accident, and it provides financial assistance to multiple organizations near El Paso, Texas. The report said the foundation may report a filing to lawsuit in coming months of an agreement cannot be reached. The report also includes the note in 2011 the Barden Abode Foundation had to ask the family of Belnita Hernandez, a former Chaplin High School softball player who died from brain cancer, to not use Be Strong while gathering cancer donations because of their trademark. The Red Sox made a statement on the matter, saying that they had been unaware that the discussions began had the Barden Abode Foundation were not progressing to resolve the matter. The Red Sox look forward to further such discussions and to positive resolution on that would, among other things, allow other distinct charitable interests mutually and successfully coexist. The Red Sox posted the Be Strong logo on the Green Monster in left field, and they wore a patch with the same logo on their jersey sleeves throughout their run to a World Series victory. Now, let me just say this about this, as I kind of just learned about this now. This charitable organization is in Texas. This happened, 10 months ago. And all of a sudden, it's coming out now that they're going to be suing the Boston Red Sox because they used the Be Strong because of what happened to this country, pretty much this nation, on April 15th. And I think this is absurd. I mean, again, if they had it first, fine. They had it first, whatever. But this was, I mean, just because they use B strong, Boston strong, doesn't mean it was because of what happened to the city, and it was a city coming together, and the whole thing. And I think what these people are trying to do, this foundation, they're trying to steal money. They're trying to get money out of the Red Sox because they used their Be Strong logo for Be Strong. I mean, it was for, just because they had it first, they feel like they have a right to use it. The Red Sox, on the other hand, used it because, it was part of recuperating and getting back together and getting back on your feet and making sure that hopefully none of this happens again, and everyone's coming together and going to be strong. And not just the Red Sox used this; the whole state used it. I mean, this whole state used Be Strong for everything. We are Boston Strong. Everyone was singing Sweet Caroline at the 7th inning. Baseball. I mean, everything. It was. So if they had a problem with it, they should have said something then, not wait 10 months later to say something. Because now it's like, oh, now all you're gonna think about is get me the dollar sign because the marathon's over. It's happened, and now we want money from you because you stole our thing last year. How come you didn't say anything before? So I think that's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. It's stupid. If you want, it's a sign. I mean, I think that's ridiculous. But we'll see. I don't think anything's going to happen out of that. But I want to take some time and talk about this Red Sox upcoming season again. I've said before, this Red Sox season is going to be about can they do what they did last year? Can they repeat? They overachieved last year. We all know this. Tony Maserati has said it, and I agree with him. They overachieved. No one predicted them to be going 96 wins and winning the World Series and all that. They come back this year with pretty much the same team, minus Ellsbury and, and Salty. But at the end of the day, they kind of have the same team. They have Koji. They have their pitching staff. They got their bullpen. I mean, if they stay healthy, they could repeat. It's going to be hard for them to repeat. No team has repeated since the 2000 Yankees. But, I think the Red Sox, if they go about it as that same team aspect like they did before, like the team and we're all this and this together and all this stuff, they'll be fine. But, again, I think if you're talking about the Red Sox and you're talking about their upcoming season, they should be an 85, 89. They could be a 90-win team this year, too. I mean, just say a 90-win team because no one predicted them to do this. With spring training starting, even John Farrell said, same mentality as last year. I mean, last year was a little different with, no one really knowing anybody. But, this year we're all, coming back and it's like, okay, but it's business. And, they had their parties, they had their fun, but now it's back to business and it's back to work. And that's what the mentality is now going forward. Okay, we had our fun in October and we had our fun in World Series after the parade. Right after that parade, though, it's a little break and then it's back to work. And Farrell has said that the players have been contacted every single day. There have been players that have contacted other players every day throughout this offseason to, keep in touch and to say, hey, listen, remember, guys, this was fun, but we have another season to play. This was great, but we got to move on from this. We can't dwell, we can't, party and, obviously when they get their rings on opening day of Fenway Park, it's going to be a great event. It's going to be a big thing, but, after that, a ceremony, it's baseball season. It's baseball time, And there was just something special about this team last year when they played the Yankees. And it was just in the beginning of the season. There was just something special about this Red Sox team, and you just saw it. You just saw this passion they had for winning, and they had this passion for like coming together, and it was like it might have been better than '04. It might have been better than. I mean, it was better than '07, but you know what? It's probably '04. No one ever predicted them coming down 3-0, and it was the Yankees. So you know what? I'm gonna say it's second to '04. '04 was 1. This was the 13 was 2. '07 was 3 because '07 was like it was they should have won. You know, they should have won, but '04 was 1 definitely. 13 was 2, and this was 3. 07 was 3, I should say. But again, it's going to be an interesting season for the Red Sox, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So one quick thing before I go. This is going to be a short show today. We have the big show back. The big show is back. Glenn Ordway. He's going to be back on he's going to be doing an online sports show, and I want to talk about this. It's going to be on sportstalkboston.com, and he's gonna, where is it? He said, I love doing this national thing. It's fun, it's different, the preparation is much different, but this is my town. I love talking about David Ortiz and whether they should re-sign him, and how topics that matter around here. And that's what I'm about. So he should have a great show with them at sportstalkboston.com. And it should top rating. Well, it should be second to Felger and Maz, because I'm telling you now, I'd watch this show 3 to 6 every day. Other than Salk and Holly, you bring a guy in from Seattle. You fire Ordway from EEI. You bring a guy in from Seattle, and it's to do afternoons and try to compete with Felger and Maz across the street. Good luck with that. No, but again, Glenn Ordway, he's basically Boston icon. He's done so many shows, the big show, and everybody will probably be, I can't wait to hear him on March 17th. So from 3 to 6. All right, that's going to do it for me. Quick show today, and I will talk to you next week.